Hidey-ho, neighborinos! Still not dead, still not in the witness protection program, and once again, here to issue up some more cybersecurity goodness. I mean, I'm not just eye candy, you know. The topic is one we've covered before, but with a new twist. MFA/2FA. If you're not familiar with it, then I encourage you to take a look at my earlier videos, link in the notes below. If you are familiar with it, especially if you've seen my prior videos, you know that I am a huge fan of it. I tell all my non-techie friends that the three-legged stool for making yourself a lot more secure is a password manager, 2FA, and a dark web monitoring service. You get those three things and your odds of being owned by a bad guy are lowered precipitously. So I know what you're thinking right now. Keith, you ruggedly handsome guy, you've already got 4 videos on this topic. What more could you possibly have to say about it? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Yes, MFA is really important, but there's no such thing as perfect security in this fallen world, so I want to make you even more secure by showing you some ways that bad guys can bypass MFA. So, with the assistance of my twin brother Skippy, in no particular order, got into your email. Okay, as my twin mentioned a moment ago, the first method of bypassing MFA that we're going to talk about is simply called getting into your email account. In this scenario, we have the bad guy, and we've got you, and we've got a website that you log into. And the bad guy has discovered that the password for your email account is your dog's name. And of course, you have no MFA, so he is in your email account. Your email account is now compromised. So he goes to the website that you log into, and he says, "Hi, this is Keith at keithisadoofus.com, and here's my password, Keith's dog's name." And the website that you log into says, "All right, Mr. Bird, we're emailing you a 6-digit number to get in right now." And a few minutes later, he says, "I'm in! Keith Bird, you're mine." And then you say, "What happened?" SIM card swap scam. So our next MFA bypass method we're going to talk about is the SIM card swap scam. In case you're not familiar with what a SIM card is, that's that tiny, tiny little card inside of your cell phone that connects your phone to your phone company, so that if someone calls your phone number, it rings on your cell phone. Obviously, we have the bad guy. And in this scenario, we have your phone company, and we've got you, and we've got a website that you log into. And in this scenario, we're going to assume that the bad guy has already gotten hold of your username and password, but he's got to somehow get past your MFA. So what does he do? He goes to your phone company and he says, "Hi, this is Keith Bird. I need to transfer my phone number to a new cell phone." And the phone company says, "That's fine, Mr. Bird." And because the cell phone company is ultra secure, it asks him a security question that he could never, ever guess or research in a million years. It asks him something like, "So, what's your birthday?" And the bad guy says, "It's August 1st. And of course, that's not my real birthday. That's just for the purposes of this demonstration. And the phone company says, "Oh, wonderful, Mr. Bird. You can put the SIM card into your new cell phone whenever you're ready." And at this point, any phone calls or texts going to Keith's phone number now go to the bad guy's phone instead. What's his next step? He goes to the website you log into and he says, here is my username and password. Send me the text to let me in. And the website you log into says, here you go, Mr. Bird. The text is on its way. And then the next thing he says is, I'm in. Keith Bud, you're mine. And then you say, as before, what happened? Malware on my computer. Okay, regarding this next MFA bypass method, it's actually fairly simple. For lack of a better name, I'm going to call it malware on my computer. And of course, we've got the bad guy, and we've got you, and we've got your computer, and we've got a website that you log into. And in this scenario, we're going to assume that the bad guy has got malware on your computer. Maybe you clicked on a link in an email, maybe you downloaded, quote, free, end quote, software from a shady website, but the malware is on your computer. We won't go into the technical details of what it's doing, but just for the sake of this scenario, we're going to say that the malware is collecting and capturing everything that the bad guy cares about, and it sends it over to him. So you get on your computer, and then you go to a website that you log into, and you log in using your username and your password and your MFA. And of course, this malware is on your computer, and it is capturing all of this, and it's sending it to the bad guy. And then the bad guy says, I've got everything I need to get into your account. Keith Bud, you're mine. And of course, you once again say, what happened? Phone call scam. Okay, so this next MFA bypass method we're going to talk about, we are simply going to name the phone call scam. We have the bad guy, and we've got you, and we've got your computer, and we've got a website that you log into. And again, for the purposes of the scenario, we're going to assume that the bad guy has gotten a hold of your username and password, and once again, he just needs to somehow get past your MFA. So what does he do? Well, he calls you. Your phone rings, you pick up, and a voice on the other end says, Mr. Bird, this is technical support from website.com. We need to get into your account immediately. And you say, oh, okay, well, whatever we need to do. And he tells you, log into our website, and when you're ready, read me the code on your phone. So you run over to your computer, and you log into the website, and he tells you, okay, I'm sending you the code on your phone right now. When you see it, please read it to me. And of course, he's not sending you anything. He's just waiting for you to pull up MFA on your phone and read the code to him. So you pull it up and you tell him, okay, the code on my phone is 654321. And he says on the phone, oh, that's all we needed, Mr. Bird. You're good to go now. Have a great day. And then he hangs up and he says, that's all I needed to get into your account. Keith Bud, you're mine. And once again, you are saying, what happened? MFA fatigue. Okay, so this next MFA bypass method is actually fairly famous in my profession of cybersecurity. The name of it is MFA Fatigue, and as of this recording, a few months ago, this is how the bad guys got in and compromised and owned, as we call it, a little company you might have heard of called Uber. So here's how it works. Once again, we have the bad guy, and we've got you, and we've got a website that you log into. And once again, in this scenario, the bad guy has gotten a hold of your username and password. He just needs to somehow get past your MFA. So he goes to the website you log into and he says, hi, this is Keith at keithisadoofus.com, and my password is Keith's dog's name. And the website goes to you and says, this is website.com. Is it you trying to log in, or is it bad guy? And this is at 2 o'clock in the morning. So your response is, no, it's not me. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Leave me alone. And then the bad guy, once again, goes to the website that you log into and says, once again, this is Keith at keithisadoofus.com, and my password is Keith's dog's name. And the website once again goes to you and says, this is website.com. Is it you trying to log in, or is it bad guy? And once again you say, no, it's not me. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Leave me alone. And then the bad guy, once again, goes to the website and says, this is Keith at keithisadoofus.com, and my password is Keith's dog's name. And the website once again goes to you and says, this is website.com. Is it you trying to log in, or is it bad guy? And once again you say, no, it's not me. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Leave me alone. Now I need to clarify something on this. This is not the bad guy sitting in front of his keyboard typing this in by hand over and over and over again. He's got all of this automated, right? So all of this is happening over and over and over again, hundreds of times in like just a couple of seconds. So once again, he comes to the website and he says, this is Keith at keithisadoofus.com, and my password is Keith's dog's name. And once again, it goes to you and says, is it you trying to log in, or is it bad guy? And this is the 300th time. So finally, you say, something's got to be wrong with the website. Yes, for the love of God, yes, it's me. And then the bad guy says, I'm in. Keith, but I own you. And once again, you are saying, what happened? Phishing. Okay, for our last MFA bypass method, we're going to simply call this phishing for reasons which will become obvious in a moment. We've got the bad guy, we've got you, we've got your bank, which we'll simply call keithsbank.com, and we have a website which was created by the bad guy, but it looks like your bank. And we'll just call it looksLikeKeithsBank.com. And as you might have guessed from the title, this is where the bad guy sends you a phishing email. It'll read something like, this is an email from keithsbank.com. We need you to click on this link and log in immediately so we can show you this message. And because you have either not seen my videos on this or you weren't paying attention, your response is, oh wow, I better log in right now. So you click on the link in the email and you go to looksLikeKeithsBank.com. And you plug in your username, password, and MFA code. And because this is a website which was created by bad guy, it sends this information straight over to the bad guy. And the bad guy's response, once again, will be, I'm in. Keith, but I own you. And for the final time today, your response is, what happened? So what can we learn from all this? Well, if you've been watching my videos up until now, most of this will sound familiar. Number one, there's no such thing as perfect security in this world. The only way to make sure your computer is completely safe is to dig a hole 6 foot deep out back, put your computer in the bottom of it, then fill it in with concrete. Number two, you might have noticed something about a lot of these attacks we talked about. Most of the more sophisticated attacks cost the bad guys in time, effort, and money. That's all I can promise to do, all I can do for you, and all you can really do. Raise the price the bad guys have to pay in time, effort, and money in order to own you. Number 3, so much about your digital life revolves around your email account, and I plead with you to protect it using that 3-legged stool I mentioned earlier. A good password provided by your password manager, MFA with an authenticator app, and a dark web monitoring service. Think for a moment about what a bad guy could do to you if he got hold of your Gmail account. Number 4, not all MFA is created equal. As I've said before, having an email or texting option for MFA is better than nothing. But as we've seen with these attacks, it's too easy for the bad guys to bypass either one of those. It's a lot more costly to them to get in if you're using an authenticator app. Number 5, the bad guys are getting a lot more sophisticated in their phishing campaigns. Yeah, you'll still see a lot of emails which have bad grammar or bad spelling, which are obviously not legitimate, but it's getting more and more inexpensive for them to put out phishing emails, which are a lot harder to detect. But also, I have good news. If you just follow one simple rule, you don't have to worry so much about how sophisticated they are. Just follow this one rule. Do not click on a link or download an attachment in an email, even if it's from someone you know and trust, unless you're expecting that particular link or that particular attachment from that particular sender. If you weren't expecting that link, then contact the sender by another means, like texting them, and confirm that they actually sent it. You do that, and you're in a very, very, very low danger from phishing emails. Number 6, let's talk about MFA fatigue for just a moment. Along with phishing, they're also getting better at bypassing authenticator apps. Nothing is bulletproof, especially when you add faulty humans into the mix. So far, this technique has all been in a corporate environment, not against individual users as such. So my counsel is this. If you're seeing a bunch of MFA requests on your phone that you're not expecting, just ignore them until you can talk to someone in IT about it. It's better to hesitate and make sure than clicking and turning out to be wrong. And number 7, this is not really new territory, but it's been a while since I mentioned this, so it bears repeating. Anybody can pretend to be anybody on the phone. I can claim to be the King of England on the phone. Be skeptical of anyone calling you out of the blue. But you can be sure of this. The IRS, the Social Security office, and a legitimate IT support person will never call you out of the blue. They are fake unless you've already been in contact with them prior to that call. Well, that's all I got for today. As always, if you want to be notified whenever I come out with some more cybersecurity goodness, then be sure to click the subscribe and bell buttons below. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and God bless.